I guess that's been the toughest thing for me because as a former elementary teacher, I started with that idea. Well, you know, kids need more guys to model guy things. And then you start learning about work and masculinity and gender, and you realize, well, those lines between men's and women's roles are very fuzzy. There's a lot of gray areas. And if you get stuck into this, well, I can model this masculinity, then that's the same kind of thinking that causes this disparity in the teaching profession in the first place.
Here, or here.
It's that teaching is a job for women, that working with little kids is the place for women. It's domestic, it's tied to the home. And so I do see it as a problem, but I'm trying to attack it in this brief in a way that talks about it being an inappropriate example of living in a democracy where we try and promote equality and fairness and egalitarian values in our schools. The idea about the low salary issue is that it is complicated and it affects men and women very differently. And so just to sit here and say that, oh, well, the best solution is just to increase teacher salary. First of all, that would be extremely expensive. You know, if you think there's 4 million teachers out there, you give people a $1,000 raise, I mean, you're talking about a ton of money that it just would not work. And then, you know, you're not even getting into the quality of these teachers and those other kinds of issues. So it's a little bit more complicated than just low salary, because there's a lot of guys that take very low-paying jobs and also have the pressure to be the breadwinner, and yet they're still not teaching. If role modeling doesn't work, and we don't really know how it works, and there's really no proof that the teacher gender matters, or the gender of the teacher does matter in terms of student achievement and stuff, well, what's the problem? Let's just do things as they are. But when you see such a strong disparity, you know, we're talking 90%, 10% in the elementary school at least, and some of these disparities are seen in other traditionally feminine occupations like nursing or something like that. I find it hard to believe that 90% of the given male population doesn't want to teach. They don't like kids. They don't want to, you know, clean diapers and mop the floor at home or something like that, or clean up after themselves. I find that hard to believe. So there has to be some kind of coercion or some kind of system in place that discourages men from actually teaching young children. And so we have to start asking these questions. What are these subtle processes? What are these subtle, you know, systems in place that are discouraging men from actually teaching? So it's more than access, it's more than career choice. It's really getting down to the fundamental aspects of education. And if they're expected to promote these values, then we can't have this kind of representation in the workforce.